We are hearing, though, that some Dubai schools are stepping in to help by offering things like more flexible payment plans and even deferred fee options. And the whole idea is obviously to help parents manage the cost of education. Joining me now with more information is Punit Vasu. He is CEO of the Indian High Group of Schools. Punit, so lovely to have you join us on the line. Good morning. I'm interested to know if you've had many parents contact you about struggling to pay for school fees.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. So interestingly, the number hasn't been that large as we would have expected or anticipated. And for us, there are probably 3 or 4 reasons why that number hasn't been that large. One is we offer all our parents the flexibility of paying their tuition fees through monthly installments. So I think that's a big relief. We also have the added advantage of not having increased our fees for the past 8 years. So that's a significant cushion that the parents are benefiting from. We also have added other measures. Obviously, we have our bursaries in place, our need-based bursaries, our sports scholarships, our academic scholarships in place, and parents are free to apply for that. But we've taken extra steps to provide that additional relief to all parents. So just to give you an example, we had the transition that parents made from our Al Garud campus in grade 4 to our Oud Mehta campus in grade 5. And for KHTA purposes, since they're 2 separate campuses, they're classified as a new admission. So we stepped up and we said, right, we understand that parents will have to make a fee payment when they come to grade 5 as new parents, which is a lump sum. So what we did is we gave parents 9 months, a 9-month window to pay 50% of that fees. And then we have deferred the rest of that fee, 50%, to the next academic year. So again, we have different initiatives in place that we're providing to parents to give them relief.
I mean, that's hugely helpful. Are there any other sort of ways that you can defer payments? I mean, either, in severe circumstances like what we're facing now, or perhaps, there could be extreme family circumstances that could crop up at any time.
Yes, so we have a pretty robust application process where parents who are going through financial difficulty can apply for any of our bursaries and pretty much either request to defer, or in exceptional circumstances, we grant them a complete fee waiver after verifying the documents and looking at the situation. Given that we operate a very affordable fee point, we have a lot of parents that are staying in Dubai and are able to afford the tuition fees in spite of not having regular income. So we definitely factor that in, that parents and families do want to continue to stay in Dubai. And how is it that we as a community, not-for-profit community group of schools can lend a helping hand so that they can make the transition while either of the parents gets a full-time job that allows them to then pay their fees in the future?
It is fantastic to hear about how your schools really are a sort of fulcrum for the community here in Dubai. I can't have you on the line and not ask you what I've been asking every head teacher that's come through the door, really, is whether or not you've seen an impact on your cohort. Have any families left the school since the conflict, or are most of them all back in classroom and life is just continuing as normal?
So we are blessed that most of them are back in the classroom. I think post-COVID parents have realized the sheer value and benefit of having a face-to-face education. The regulator has been once again very progressive in giving an option for online learning to students who have been affected by the situation. But like I always said, parents vote with their feet, and we have more than 99% of our parents back. We have we have all our educators back on the ground. So that's been a huge relief, and that's something which has been beneficial both for the students, the learners, and the educators. So we haven't seen that disruption. We again have a very strong waiting list of 14,000 students enrolled. We are adding capacity to see how we can serve the community and enroll more students.
Oh, that's a real, well, one of the things that they talk about on the Business Breakfast program here a lot is this idea of proxy data. And we genuinely do have to rely on those types of numbers to figure out, sentiment ultimately within the city. And if you've still got a waiting list, and in fact, I spoke to a couple of schools this week as well, and they still have waiting lists, certainly for the years that I was looking at. So it is interesting to hear that. I just wonder, how does the whole non-exam exam process go? Because the Indian curriculum was one of the first to say that they weren't going to carry out in sort of classroom exams, that instead you would have to use coursework.
So we worked very closely with the CBSE, and it helps that the CBSE has a regional office in Dubai, headquartered in Dubai. So you have a team on the ground that worked with us. And again, they came up with a fantastic assessment tool that either looked at averaging out previous examination scores and a combination of internal assessments. And schools have robust assessment schemes, both the formative and the summative touch points over an entire period, that allows us to measure attainment and progress. So I think all schools, especially in Dubai and the UAE, given that we have a very, very sound inspection regime, are always well equipped to handle such situations, that none of us are depending on that final examination that determines the future. I mean, we would have been prepared if it was allowed to have taken place, but we worked very, very closely with the CBSE and the KHTA, and all schools in Dubai, especially the Indian curriculum schools that were affected, were able to ensure that there was a very fair assessment and a very fair tool that was used that allowed students that were affected for the grade 10 and grade 12 board examinations to now further progress onwards.
I've got about 30 seconds left with you, and rather a big question to ask, because I'd like to know what your outlook is for the rest of this school year. Obviously, it's hard for you, like it is hard for all of us, to read what's going on in the conflict. But what would be your perspectives on the coming months?
So we are very optimistic, very grateful to the leadership and the regulatory authorities of the UAE for keeping all of us safe. We are very, very bullish that Dubai will definitely rebound and bounce back, as it always does. We are very, very resilient. We are, interestingly, going ahead with our expansion plans and construction plans. So we haven't put a pause to that. So that shows that we have complete faith that our numbers won't be affected. And this has been a significant blip, but we're going to put this behind us and move onwards the Dubai way, the classical way. The only way we know, which is moving onwards and forward.
Punit Vasu, CEO of the Indian High Group of Schools, thank you so much for joining us on The Agenda this morning.